The internet is in absolute chaos right now, y'all. And this time, it's not about another celebrity beef or a wild red carpet moment. No, this time, the entire Harris family is caught in the middle of one of the biggest scandals the hip-hop world has ever seen. Just days after shocking footage surfaced online, footage that allegedly confirms that King Harris, the outspoken son of rap legend T.I. and Tiny Harris, might actually be living a life his parents never expected. The family's entire world seems to be falling apart. Fans are stunned. Social media is exploding. And the streets are buzzing with one question. Did T.I. really just confront his son over the rumors? And what exactly went down behind those mansion doors when the cameras stopped rolling? Insiders claim voices were raised, accusations were thrown, and deep family secrets finally came to light. Sources close to the situation say I felt betrayed. While Tiny was caught in the middle, trying to hold her family together. But when the truth finally came out, things took a turn no one saw coming. Stay tuned. Because what happened next left fans speechless, and the Harris family forever changed. The footage hit the internet like a bombshell. It wasn't some random rumor this time. It was an actual clip that seemed to show King Harris in an intimate moment with another guy backstage at a private event in Atlanta. Within minutes, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were flooded with posts, screenshots, and reactions. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Some defended him immediately, saying everyone deserved privacy and self-expression. Others were quick to judge, tagging T and Tiny, demanding answers. For years, King had been known as the wild child of the Harris family. He was loud, unpredictable, and always at the center of controversy. From arguing with strangers online to getting into public spats at restaurants. King had built a reputation for doing whatever he wanted. But this time, things felt different. This wasn't just another argument or viral rant. This was something that touched the core of who he was, his identity, his image, and most importantly, his relationship with his father inside the Harris mansion. The atmosphere was tense. T had locked himself in his office, pacing back and forth as his phone blew up with notifications. Everyone wanted a comment. Reporters, producers, even friends from the industry were calling nonstop. Tiny sat quietly in the living room, her eyes glued to the TV, watching as entertainment shows dissected the clip frame by frame. It don't even look like him, Tiny whispered to herself, though deep down she wasn't sure. She wanted to believe her son was innocent, that maybe it was a deep fake or some elaborate prank. But when she heard the voice in the video, the same tone, the same laugh she'd known since he was a little boy, her heart sank. Upstairs, King was pacing too. His phone was blowing up with texts and calls from friends, some supportive, others cruel. "Yo, bro, you trending again," one of them texted. "You good?" Another message said simply, "You ruined your image, man." King threw his phone on the bed and looked at himself in the mirror. For the first time in a long time, he didn't recognize the person staring back at him. He wasn't scared of the internet. He was scared of his dad's reaction. T wasn't just a father. He was a legend, a man who built his career on respect, dominance, and control. King knew how much appearances mattered to him. A soft knock broke the silence. It was Tiny. "Baby, can I come in?" she asked. King hesitated, then sighed. "Yeah, Ma." "Come on." She stepped in carefully, closing the door behind her. "You know what's going on out there?" she asked gently. "Of course I do," King said, rubbing the back of his neck. "Everybody knows." Tiny took a seat on the edge of his bed. "I just need to hear it from you. Is it real?" King froze for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Yeah, it's real, Ma. It's me." She exhaled, looking both sad and relieved at the same time. "Baby, why didn't you tell us? You know, your daddy's gonna have questions." "'Cause y'all always talk about image," he said bitterly. "You and Dad care more about what people think than how I actually feel." Tiny's eyes filled with tears. "That's not true, King. We love you. Your daddy loves you. He comes from a different time, baby. Things hit him harder than they hit me." Just then, they heard T's footsteps echoing down the hall. He pushed open the door without knocking, his face stern, his eyes dark with anger and confusion. "So it's true then," he said flatly, staring at King. King didn't answer. Tiny stood up, trying to ease the tension. "Tip, please." "Not right now." But T's jaw was set. "Nah, I need to hear it from him. I need to understand what's going on here." King met his father's gaze, his voice calm but firm. "You already know what's going on. You saw the video. It's me, Dad." "I ain't ashamed of it either." Kay blinked, taken aback by his son's boldness. "You ain't ashamed," he repeated, his tone sharp. "Boy, you out here letting people clown this family, drag our name through the mud, and you talking about you ain't ashamed." Tiny reached for T's arm. "Tip, stop, please. Let's just talk." But T pulled away. "Nah, I've been talking my whole life. I raised this boy to be a man, and now he out here macking a fool out of himself and this family." King stepped forward, his voice trembling but full of emotion. "You raised me to be strong, right? To speak my mind. Well, that's what I'm doing. I ain't out here hurting nobody. I'm just being me." The room went silent. Tiny wiped her eyes as T turned away, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. "You've got the world watching us right now," T said quietly. "And you think this is about you? It's not just about you, King. It's about all of us. Our name, our legacy." "Maybe your legacy," King snapped back, "but it ain't mine." That sentence hung in the air like thunder. T's face hardened. For the first time, it wasn't just anger. It was hurt. "So that's what it is," T said softly. "You done with us?" King looked down, unable to meet his father's eyes. "I ain't done with y'all. I just need to live my truth, even if it don't fit what you want." Tiny's voice cracked. "Please, can we not do this tonight? Let's just breathe. Let's figure this out as a family." But T was already heading for the door. "Nah, I need air. I need to think." He paused, then looked back at King one last time. "You broke something tonight, son. I don't know if it can be fixed." The door closed behind him, leaving Tiny and King standing in stunned silence. Outside, cameras were already gathering at the gate. The world was waiting for T's response. But inside that house, a father and son were struggling to find their voices again. As T walked out to his car, he could hear Tiny calling after him, but he didn't stop. His phone buzzed with another call, this time from his manager. "Tip, we got a problem," the voice said urgently. "The video's everywhere. The label wants you to make a statement before morning." T didn't answer. He just sat there in the driver's seat, staring into the darkness, wondering when everything had changed. Back inside, King sat beside his mother, feeling both relieved and shattered. He had finally told the truth, but it came at a cost he hadn't imagined. Tiny rubbed his back gently, whispering, "No matter what happens, I got you." King nodded, but deep down he knew this was just the beginning. The world outside was talking. The headlines were multiplying, and soon he'd have to face the full weight of what his truth had unleashed. And somewhere down the road, T would have to decide, was he going to protect his image or his son? The night grew quieter, but the storm had only just begun. The next morning, when T woke up to see the headlines plastered across every screen, he realized there was no turning back. The world knew the story had gone viral, and every choice he made from here would define not just his career, but his family's legacy. And as King opened his phone to see thousands of comments, some supportive, many hateful, he realized he wasn't just fighting for acceptance, he was fighting for his place in his own family. The next confrontation would change everything. The next morning, the Harris mansion felt like a battlefield after the storm. T hadn't come home all night. Tiny had barely slept, sitting on the couch with her phone in hand, scrolling through endless social media posts and trying to control the narrative in her mind. Every gossip blog, every entertainment page, every fan account had the same headline: "Footage confirms King Harris' shocking truth. T responds with silence." Meanwhile, King woke up to find his phone buzzing nonstop. His name was trending #1 across platforms, and the comment sections were a war zone. Half the world seemed to be celebrating him for being brave, while the other half mocked and condemned him. Yo, you see this? His friend Yolan texted, "Everybody talking about you, bro." Even celebs jumping in. King scrolled through the posts. Lil Nas X had tweeted a supportive message saying, "Live your truth, King. Never let the world tell you who to be." Cardi B had commented under a gossip post with a heart emoji. But then, other rappers had thrown shade, posting cryptic messages about real men and losing the culture. The noise was deafening. But what hurt most was the silence from his father. By noon, T finally came home. The sound of his car pulling into the driveway made Tiny's heart skip. She stood up as he walked in, sunglasses still on, his expression unreadable. "You been out all night?" she said quietly. "Needed space," T replied, walking straight past her. "Tip," she called after him. "Don't do this. Not with the cameras outside. Not with King hurting like this." He stopped at the bottom of the stairs, his voice low but heavy. "He brought those cameras here, Tiny." "Not me." Tiny crossed her arms, trying to keep calm. "He's your son. He's confused, scared, and he needs you. This ain't the time to be hard." "This ain't about being hard," T snapped. "This about what's right and wrong. About respect. I done spent my whole career fighting for my name, my legacy." "And now, your legacy ain't going nowhere," Tiny interrupted. "What you need to fight for is your child. You so worried about the world that you forget your world is right upstairs." T didn't respond. After a long silence, he finally sighed and headed upstairs. King was sitting on his bed again, scrolling through his phone when his father walked in. He looked up, cautious. "You talked to the label yet?" he asked. "This ain't about business," T said, shutting the door behind him. "This about you and me." King nodded slowly. "All right, then let's talk." T sat across from him, his eyes sharp but tired. "You know how the world looks at me, how they look at this family. You know what I built? And now they all laughing." King leaned forward. "They ain't laughing 'cause of me. They laughing 'cause you act like what I am is a problem. Ain't about what you are," T said, voice rising slightly. "It's about how you went about it. You out here letting people film you doing God knows what, and now it's on every blog in America? You think I planned that?" King shot back. "You think I wanted the whole world to see that? No, but I'm done hiding, Dad. I ain't gonna be who you want me to be just to keep up some image." T rubbed his temples, frustration clear on his face. "You young, you don't understand how the game works. People watching. They waiting for me to slip, and now they got ammo. Then maybe stop playing a game and start living real life," King said bitterly. "I ain't trying to be your clone. I'm trying to be me." The tension in the room was unbearable. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Finally, T stood up, pacing slowly. "You know what hurts?" he said. "I've been trying to guide you. Every time you got in trouble, I was there. Every time you acted out, I defended you. And now I see this video, and it feel like you just spit in everything I taught you." King's voice cracked. "You taught me to be strong. You taught me to stand on what I believe. That's what I'm doing." T stopped pacing, his eyes softening for the first time. "So this who you are then? This the truth?" King nodded. "Yeah, it is." The room went silent again. T took a deep breath, his voice quieter now. "You know, the world ain't kind, son. People gonna say things, do things. You sure you're ready for that?" King looked down for a moment, then back up. "I've been dealing with hate my whole life. This ain't new. But at least now, I ain't lying to myself." T stared at him for a long time, something shifting in his eyes. The anger wasn't gone, but beneath it was something else. Fear, maybe even pride. "You got guts," T said finally. "I'll give you that." Before King could respond, Tiny entered the room quietly. "You two talkin'?" she asked. T nodded slowly. "Yeah, we talkin'." She exhaled, relief washing over her face. "Good, 'cause the world out there already talkin' too. We need to get ahead of this. Maybe a family statement, Something to show y'all united. United, T repeated, almost scoffing. You seen them comments? They dragging me, Tiny. They say, Anne, I'm a bad father, that I failed. Tiny crossed her arms. So what? Let them talk. The only failure here would be letting this tear your family apart. Now, T looked at King again. You want me to go out there and smile like everything cool? King shook his head. I don't want you to fake it. I just want you to accept it. Tiny stepped closer. Tip, this your chance to show the world that love don't stop because of gossip. That a real man stands by his family. T's jaw tightened. But he didn't argue later that afternoon. King made a post on Instagram, a simple black and white photo of himself with the caption, No more hiding. This is me. Within minutes, the post had millions of likes and thousands of comments. Celebrities, fans, and activists flooded his page with love and support. But not everyone was happy. A few rappers threw shade in their stories, making jokes and implying T had lost control of his house. One even posted, Can't teach respect if you can't keep order. T saw the posts and clenched his fists. They trying me, he muttered. Tiny shook her head. Ignore it. Tip. This ain't about them. It's about us. But T couldn't just ignore it. That evening, during a live interview for a podcast, the host asked him directly about the situation. So, Tip, what's going on with your son? The internet going crazy. T paused, his expression unreadable. Look, man, he said finally, that's my son. We got things we dealin' with privately as a family. I ain't got nothin' but love for him. He grown, he makin' his choices. But don't mistake my silence for weakness. The clip went viral instantly. Half the internet praised T for being calm and composed, while others accused him of being cold and distant. King saw the interview and felt a sting. So that's it, he said under his breath. That's what I am now, a choice he tolerates. Tiny tried to comfort him. He just need time, baby. He ain't used to this. But before the night ended, a new twist hit the internet. A leaked audio recording surfaced, allegedly from T's private phone call with a friend. In it, a voice that sounded like T's could be heard saying, I ain't co-signin' that lifestyle, man. I love my boy, but he know better. The internet exploded all over again. Fans flooded King's page, demanding answers. Some defended T, saying he was just being honest. Others accused him of being hypocritical, preaching love but spreading judgment behind closed doors. When King heard the recording, his heart dropped. He said that. He whispered disbelief on his face. Tiny looked horrified. Lord have mercy. Tell me that ain't real. But deep down, they both knew it probably was. King stormed out of the house that night, ignoring his mother's calls. Paparazzi caught him outside a nightclub with tears in his eyes. When one reporter shouted, How do you feel about your dad's comments? King just shook his head and said, Guess now I know how he really feels. Back at home, T sat in his studio, head in his hands, listening to the fallout play out in real time. For the first time in years, he felt like he'd lost control, not just of the narrative, but of his family. Tiny walked in quietly, her voice trembling. Tip, you gotta fix this. Not for the media, not for your image, for your son. T didn't look up. He won't even talk to me. Then you go to him, she said, before the world destroys what's left of y'all. And with that, T stood, grabbed his keys, and headed out into the night, determined to find King before it was too late. It was just after midnight when T finally found King. Word had gotten around that King was at a small recording studio on the west side of Atlanta, spot he used to hang out at with friends when he wanted to escape the family spotlight. The parking lot was almost empty except for a few cars and the faint bass thumping from inside. T parked, sat in the car for a moment, and stared at the steering wheel. This wasn't just another talk between father and son. This was the kind of conversation that could either mend everything or break it for good. He took a deep breath and walked in. The air smelled like smoke and energy drinks. King was in the booth, headphones on, rapping into the mic with raw emotion. His voice cracked as he delivered line after line about being misunderstood, about fame, about wanting freedom. It wasn't polished, but it was real. T stood quietly in the corner, watching. For a brief second, he saw himself in his son. The same fire, the same defiance, the same hunger to be heard. When the track ended, King looked up and froze. "What you doing here?" he asked flatly through the glass. T motioned for him to come out. King hesitated, but finally stepped out of the booth, grabbing a towel to wipe the sweat from his face. "Your mama told me where you was," T said softly. King didn't look at him. Figured she would. "I heard the track," T continued. "You've got something to say. Say it to me, not the mic." King laughed dryly. "The mic listens better than you do." That stung. T clenched his jaw but stayed calm. "I know you mad. You've got every right to be. That audio going around. It ain't the whole story." King crossed his arms. "So it's true though. You said it." T sighed. "I said something out of frustration. I was talking to somebody who don't even matter. It wasn't for the world to hear." "But you said it," King insisted. "You said you don't co-sign my lifestyle. That means you don't co-sign me." T stepped closer. "That ain't what I meant. Boy, I love you. I've been trying to understand something I wasn't raised to understand." King shook his head, his eyes glistening. "You've been trying to control me, not understand me." The words hung heavy in the air. T exhaled slowly, lowering his voice. "You right? I've been trying to control everything, my image, my career, this family. Maybe I forgot that love ain't supposed to come with rules." For a moment, there was silence. The walls of the studio seemed to hum with tension and unspoken emotion. "You don't get it, Dad," King finally said. "All my life, people have been telling me I gotta live up to your name. I can't just be King. I gotta be T's son. I gotta be tough, gotta be straight, gotta be perfect. And I tried. God knows I tried. But I ain't you." T's eyes softened. "I never wanted you to be me, son. I just didn't want the world to eat you alive." "The world already did," King whispered. "And you helped it." T looked like he'd been punched. He sat down slowly on the edge of the couch, rubbing his hands together. "I messed up, huh?" "Yeah," King said quietly. "You did?" They sat there in silence for what felt like forever. Outside, the city lights glowed faintly through the window. Inside, 2 generations of pain sat across from each other, both too stubborn to let their guard down, until finally, T spoke again. "You remember when you was little," he said softly, "and you fell off your bike, busted your lip open. You cried for 2 seconds, then you stood up and said, 'I'm good.' I remember thinking right then, that's my boy. He tough, he don't quit." King looked down. "Yeah, I remember." "That same spirit," T continued, "the one that got you through all them mistakes, all them headlines. That's what I see right now. I might not understand every part of who you are, but I know one thing, you mine, and I'm proud of you, even if I ain't said it right." King's eyes welled up, but he tried to play it cool. "You don't gotta say that just 'cause the camera's on us now. This ain't for no cameras," T said firmly. "This for us." Just then, Tiny's name lit up on T's phone. He answered, putting her on speaker. "Where y'all at?" she asked, her voice tired but hopeful. "We talkin'," T said simply. Tiny smiled through the phone. "Thank God. Look, the internet wildin' right now. They say Aim King left the family. You disowned him. All kinda lies. Maybe y'all should do a live together. Show folks y'all solid." King hesitated. "I don't want to make it look fake, Ma. It don't gotta be fake," Tiny replied. "Just show love. That's all." T nodded slowly. "Maybe she'll write. Sometimes you gotta tell your own story before somebody else does." They ended the call, and for the first time that night, T and King shared a faint smile. It wasn't peace yet, but it was a start. The next day, the Harris family went live on Instagram. Tiny sat between T and King, holding both their hands. Fans flooded the comments, thousands of hearts flying up the screen. T started, his tone calm but serious. "Look, man, I know there's been a lot of talk. A lot of rumors. But I want to make something clear. This, my son. No matter what the internet say, no matter what anybody think, my love for him don't change. King looked at him, visibly emotional. I ain't perfect, y'all, but I'm done pretending. I'm me. And if that make people uncomfortable, that's their problem. Tiny smiled through tears. We a family. We argue, we cry, we heal. And we've gone get through this too. The live went viral instantly. Fans flooded social media with clips, praising the family for facing things head-on. Even major outlets picked it up, calling it a powerful moment of acceptance. But as always, not everyone was supportive. One headline read, "T forced to accept lifestyle under pressure." Another called it a publicity stunt. Behind closed doors, though, things were still complicated. T was trying, but old habits died hard. Later that night, when the family was having dinner, he slipped. "You know, all this attention, it's crazy," T said. "Folks out there acting like this the only thing that defines you." King frowned. "What you mean by that?" "I mean," T continued, "you still got a career, a future. Don't let this become your whole identity." King pushed his plate away slightly. "This ain't some brand, Dad. It's my life." Tiny sensed tension rising again. "Please," she said softly, "not tonight." But the air was already thick. King stood up, shaking his head. "Every time I think we moving forward, you remind me you still don't get it." He left the table, heading to his room. Tiny gave T a disappointed look. "You've got to stop doing that," she said. "I ain't mean nothing bad," T replied defensively. "It don't matter what you meant," she said. "It's what he hears." T sighed deeply, realizing she was right. Later that night, T knocked on King's door again. "You awake?" he asked. No answer. He pushed the door open slightly and saw King sitting on the floor, headphones on, writing lyrics in his notebook. "You writin'?" T asked quietly. King looked up. "Trying to turn pain into music, I guess?" T nodded. "That's what I always did too." There was another pause. "Look," T said finally, "I ain't gonna pretend I know how to handle all this. I'm learning as I go. But I don't want to lose you, son." "Not over this." King took a deep breath. "You already lost me a while ago, Dad. You just didn't notice." Those words hit harder than any punch. T swallowed hard. "Then help me fix it. Tell me what I gotta do." King looked at him, eyes tired but sincere. "Just stop trying to fix me. Just love me." For the first time, T didn't have a comeback. He just nodded, stepped forward, and pulled his son into a quiet embrace. No words, no cameras, just father and son. Two men finally letting go of pride. Tiny walked by the door and saw them. She smiled softly, tears in her eyes, whispering to herself, "Thank you, God." But just when it seemed things were calming down, another storm brewed online. A new rumor started circulating, one claiming the leaked video had been released by someone inside the family. Some said it was a jealous relative. Others claimed a close friend had sold it to the tabloids for money. The blogs lit up again, demanding to know who betrayed them. T's protective instincts kicked in instantly. "I'm gonna find out who did this," he vowed. Tiny grabbed his arm. "Don't go looking for revenge. It'll just make things worse." But T was already on his phone, calling his lawyer, his publicist, and a private investigator. "Somebody trying to play with my family's name," he said coldly. "They'd gone regret it." King overheard and frowned. "Dad, let it go. Whoever did it, they already won if you let this control you." But T wasn't listening. He was ready for war, and that decision would lead to the next explosive chapter in the Harris family saga 2 days later. Atlanta was buzzing again, not because of another concert or red carpet event, but because word had leaked that T had tracked down the person responsible for releasing King's private footage. The rumor spread fast. T had confronted someone close to the family, and it hadn't gone quietly. Reporters camped outside the Harris mansion, helicopters hovered overhead, and fans on social media refreshed their feeds every 5 seconds, waiting for new updates. Inside, The atmosphere was explosive. Tiny was pacing in the kitchen, phone in hand, trying to calm things down before they spiraled. "Tip, please don't make this worse," she said into the phone. "You already told me you found out who did it. Now just let the lawyers handle it." But T's voice on the other end was low and cold. "This ain't something I can let slide, Tiny. This was family business. Whoever leaked that video didn't just embarrass my son, they tried to destroy us." Tiny closed her eyes, whispering, "Lord, give me strength." When T pulled up to a small apartment complex on the east side, cameras followed. The blogs had already caught wind that the alleged leaker was someone from the Harris family's inner circle, a former assistant named Darius, who'd been with T for years. T confronted him outside the building. And though no one had a clear video of the altercation, neighbors claimed they heard shouting, "You did this to me, man." T's voice echoed through the parking lot. "To my family?" Darius, nervous and sweating, stammered. "It wasn't like that, Tip. I didn't mean for it to blow up like this. I just sent it to somebody and you sold us out." T cut him off. "You sold my boy out. You sold my boy out." Darius tried to defend himself. "I needed the money, man. They offered me 20 grand. I didn't think it'd go this far." T stepped closer, fury in his eyes. "You think money make this okay? You think that can fix what you broke?" By now, onlookers had gathered, recording with their phones. Tiny, watching live from home, put her hands over her face. "Oh God, he's gonna lose it," she whispered. King walked into the room just then, seeing the chaos on social media. "What's he doing?" he asked. Tiny's voice trembled. "He found the man who leaked the video." King grabbed his jacket. "I gotta stop him." By the time King arrived, T was still in the parking lot, surrounded by people and cameras. Darius was pleading with him to calm down. "I didn't mean to hurt nobody. Tip. Please, man." "You hurt my family," T growled. "You hurt my son." King pushed through the crowd. "Dad, stop," he shouted. "This ain't the way." Everyone turned. T froze, the anger draining from his face when he saw his son standing there, chest heaving, eyes full of hurt. "You think this fix it?" King continued. "You think scarring this man makes it better? It don't. It just makes you look like the monster they say you are." T's fists unclenched slowly. He looked around the cameras, the flashing lights, the phones recording every move. He realized King was right. This wasn't justice. This was more pain. "You don't understand," T said quietly. "He betrayed us. He betrayed me," King corrected. "And I'm telling you, I forgive him. Let it go." Those words stunned everyone. Darius looked at King, tears streaming down his face. "I'm sorry, man. I really am," King nodded. "I know, but we done with this. I ain't letting you turn this into another war, Dad." For the first time in weeks, T didn't argue. He turned to Darius, his expression softening. "Get out of here," he said, "and don't ever come near my family again." As they drove home, the car was silent. Tiny sat in the back seat, holding King's hand. T stared straight ahead, deep in thought. Finally, he spoke. "You handled that better than I did." King shrugged. "I just did what I wish you'd done for me." T nodded slowly. "You're right. I've been trying to fight everything, the world, the press, my own fear. Maybe I should have just been fighting for peace." For the first time, the tension between them felt lighter. They didn't say much else that night, but when they got home, Tiny made dinner, and for once, everyone sat together. No cameras, no drama, no arguments. Just a quiet family trying to heal. Peace, even temporary, doesn't come without consequence. The next morning, footage of T's confrontation with Darius went viral. Blogs labeled him angry and dangerous. Others praised King for being calm and forgiving. Fans flooded T's page with mixed reactions. Some called him a hero. Others said he needed therapy. T. Every comment, every headline. At first, it hurt. But then he stumbled across a post from a fan that said, "At least he showed up for his son." That's what real fathers do. For the first time in days, T smiled. Later that day, T called King into the studio. "I want you on a track with me," he said. King looked surprised. "You serious?" "Dead serious," T replied. "We've gone make something real. Not about fame, not about clout. About family, forgiveness, and truth." They spent the next few hours writing together. The song started raw and painful, but ended with a message of hope about fathers learning from sons, and sons finding their own voices. When they released the song a week later, it went viral instantly. The internet called it the most emotional collab of the year. In interviews, T spoke honestly. "Look, I made mistakes. I said things I regret. But at the end of the day, love wins. My son taught me that." King, sitting beside him, nodded. "And I learned my dad ain't perfect, but he tries. And that's enough." The fans were touched. Even those who'd been skeptical before started flooding social media with support. Memes turned into messages of encouragement. People shared stories about their own families, their own struggles with acceptance. What had started as a scandal had somehow transformed into something bigger. A conversation about love, growth, and redemption. Tiny, ever the peacemaker, finally felt she could breathe. One night, as the family sat in the living room, she smiled and said, "See what happens when y'all listen to me?" Everyone laughed, even T-Dot, but despite the laughter, T knew the world wouldn't forget what happened. There would always be people judging, people twisting the story. Yet he also knew something else. His son had changed him. That weekend, they did their first joint public appearance at a charity event in Atlanta. As they walked the red carpet, reporters shouted questions, flashing lights everywhere. One asked T, "So what's the status of your relationship now?" T looked at King, smiled, and said, "Stronger than ever." King grinned. "Took a lot to get here, but yeah, we good." The crowd cheered, cameras clicked, and for once, the headlines weren't about scandal or shame. They were about growth. When they got home that night, T sat on the porch, staring at the city lights. King joined him quietly, 2 drinks in hand. "You think the world ever gone? Stop talking." King asked with a smirk. T chuckled. "Nah, son. They always gon' talk. But long as we good, they can talk all they want." King nodded, leaning back. "Guess we finally on the same page." T looked at him, pride in his eyes. "Took a minute, but yeah, we here now." The night was calm, no noise, no drama, just 2 generations of the Harris family finally finding peace after weeks of chaos. And though the internet would move on to the next scandal soon enough, the Harris family would never forget what they'd been through, the pain, the forgiveness, and the love that pulled them back together. Because at the end of the day, the story wasn't about a leaked video or a public feud. It was about a father learning to listen, a son learning to forgive, and a family learning to stand tall no matter what the world said. And for once, T wasn't worried about image, headlines, or legacy. He looked at his son, smiled, and said softly, "This the only legacy that matters." As the dust finally settled, the story of T and King Harris left everyone speechless. What started as a scandal that threatened to destroy a family ended up becoming one of the most emotional, talked about moments in hip-hop history. Fans who once watched in disbelief were now posting messages of love and support, saying things like "This is real growth." And finally, a father who listened. The same internet that tried to tear them apart was now celebrating them for their honesty, their vulnerability, and their strength. But the truth is, the story doesn't really end here. Behind the cameras, behind the headlines, still healing happening. Quiet conversations, late night talks, and the kind of love that doesn't always make it to social media. T and King may have made peace, but every family watching saw a little bit of themselves in this story. The tension, the pride, the misunderstandings, and, most importantly, the power of forgiveness. And maybe that's the real message behind it all. No matter how loud the world gets, what matters most is the love that survives when everything else fades. So what do you think, fam? Did T do the right thing by confronting King? Do you believe his reaction was justified, or did King handle things better in the end? Let us know your thoughts down below because we want to hear from you. Make sure you like this video if you felt the emotion. Subscribe for more exclusive updates and untold stories from the world of music and fame. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you never miss the next big twist in the ongoing saga of your favorite stars. Drop your comments. Share this with your friends and tell us what would you have done if you were in T's shoes. Because one thing's for sure, this story proves that fame might fade, but family drama never sleeps. Stay tuned because, this ain't the last chapter.